the introduction, Sammilan Shetty, born on May 23rd, 1985 in Belvai, near Mudabidri of Dakshina Kannada district. His schooling was completed at Rotary English Medium School, Mudabidri, and then he studied at Sri Bhuvanendra College, Karkala. Being born and brought up in a village, the natural instinct to conserve wildlife and nature influenced a lot in his life. His special interest for butterflies grew when he was study of local flies by his zoology teacher, Professor Ashok C.H. during his graduation days at Arthas College, Mudbidri. Please note this point, how the teacher can influence a student. Since then, he has been keenly observing these winged beauties and has been trying to conserve them. The Butterfly Park in Belvai was founded by him in the year 2000 and a great passionate about who is greatly passionate about the butterflies and who has established this butterfly park in 7 acres, created the habitat and conserved the natural habitat also to propagate and educate people about the butterfly conservation and related things. I welcome you for this session of today's webinar. And I welcome all the participants, our college principal, Professor H.S. Balakrishna, and all the faculty members. We have with us the students from our college and other colleges as well from Bangalore University, Bengaluru City University, and North University. And we have the senior students, life science students also, who have enthusiastically joined the session. We have with us the senior staff members also from our college and other colleges also. I welcome all of you for this session. And I'm very sure that we will have a great time in the evening. Thank you all and welcome again all of you for this session. Now I request Sammilan Shetty sir to take over the session. Sir, please.
Yeah. So in the photo, you're seeing the Malabar banded peacock, the butterfly which is endemic to Western Ghats, and which was rated as the third most beautiful butterfly in India by Winter Blith, who wrote the first field guide on butterflies of Indian region. So this butterfly is endemic to Western Ghats, and I'll be talking in detail about the preference of the host plant of this particular butterfly in the latest slides. Let me just give a brief introduction on butterflies. They belong to the order Lepidoptera. Lepi means scales. Any insects which has got scales on its wings, maybe it is a butterfly or moth. They both belong to the order Lepidoptera. So if we take a section of the wing of the butterfly or moth and focus it under the compound microscope, you'll see a lot of scales found in it. So through your naked eyes, it looks like a powder. If you accidentally touch a moth or a butterfly, you'll get that powdery substance which gets stuck in your hand. So those are the scales of the butterflies. So let me just also highlight on the differences between the butterflies and moths. Before I talk about the relationship of the butterflies with the flora, here is the behavioral difference. Moths are nocturnal, whereas butterflies are diurnal in nature. So majority of the moths are nocturnal, but of course there is some exceptional cases, like some of the moths are also active during the daytime. Whereas almost all butterflies are active in the daytime. Very few can be active in the evening. Moving on to the next difference, so that is moths keep their wings flat against the body, whereas butterflies' wings are held vertically during rest. So if you look at the photo here, this is one of the all moths, and you can see the wings being laid in a horizontal position. But if you look at a butterfly, the wings are vertically folded during rest like this. In case of autumn leaf butterfly, you're seeing. Again, there is exceptional. There are some butterflies which keep their wings in horizontal position. Coming back here. So what is the last difference here? Moths have a pointed and feathery antenna, whereas butterfly antenna are cup shaped. So if you look closely at butterfly antenna, here's a moth antenna for you. It's pointed, and some of the moths have a feathery antenna. So here's a gaudy baron female. She's sipping liquid from a rotten jackfruit, and if you look at her antenna, the tip is swollen. Okay, that butterfly antenna tip is swollen, whereas in case moths, they have a pointed antenna. So this difference, I already told you that how butterfly keep their wings vertically folded during rest. So here is a difference of the butterfly and moth caterpillar. So there is no specific difference. You cannot specify tell there is such a difference in a butterfly or a moth caterpillar. So it's by experience you get to learn which is a butterfly caterpillar and a moth caterpillar. But of course, a majority of the moth caterpillars, you can see hairs on their skin, and they also cause skin irritation. If you accidentally touch moth caterpillar, you might get skin irritation. Whereas butterfly caterpillars can be completely harmless creatures. These are the caterpillars of the Malabar banded swallowtail, the butterfly which is endemic to Western Ghats, and these caterpillars remain together like this. Okay, the female lays her eggs, stacking the eggs one above the other, forming that unique structure. And these caterpillars remain together. They pupate together, and you can see how this is a way of defense to escape threats from predators or to go unnoticed by a predator. Okay. Let me just also just tell you about the life cycle. What are the different stages? The egg, the caterpillar, the second stage, the pupa is the third stage, and finally is the adult. So after the female after the mating takes place, or the female goes in search of the host to lay her eggs, and the caterpillar which comes out of the egg, depending on the climatic condition, depending on the species, it feeds on the eggshell and first, then it feeds on the host. After that, it becomes a pupa, and normally in a span of about anywhere from 15 days to 1 month, the butterfly would eclose out only if the conditions are favorable. If the conditions are not favorable, the butterfly might settle inside the pupa and go dormant. So emerging out can be a voluntary process. And then after the butterfly comes out, the regular process continues like that. So the growth stage of the butterfly is only the caterpillar stage, that is the second stage. So if the butterfly survives the food shortage, a dwarf butterfly might eclose. So here, for you to get a picture, here's the egg of the southern birdwing. Next is the caterpillar of the southern birdwing, which has just come out, and you can see, as I mentioned, it feeds on the eggshell first, and then on the host plant, and then after that it grows, it forms a pupa. So this is a pre-pupal stage of the southern birdwing. So here you can see the silk thread. Can you see my cursor, participants? Can you see my cursor moving? If somebody can unmute and tell my cursor is moving.
Yeah, we can see your cursor, sir.
Okay. So yeah, this is a silk thread done by the caterpillar, and this is the silk pad which it attaches itself at the posterior end. You can see fine threads here. I hope you can see these fine threads. The caterpillar does this, use this thread and hangs itself for the support at the anterior end by using the silk thread, which is formed by hundreds of fine threads, and silk pad at the posterior end. Then it becomes a pupa, goes to the next stage. So these are some of the basic things you need to know as far as the life cycle of the butterfly is concerned. So there are the 4 different stages: the egg, the caterpillar, pupa, and the adult. So here you are seeing the eclosion of the southern birdwing. The butterfly opens the chrysalis, applying that force, and comes out of the chrysalis. The butterfly wouldn't be able to fly immediately after coming out because the wings are folded. It has to unfold completely, and then only the butterfly would be taking the first flight of its life. So it might take about 2 to 3 hours for the wings to unfold completely and for it to be hardened. Here's a male southern birdwing which has just come out of the pupal case. This is the empty pupal case, what you can see. The brown thing, what you're seeing inside this pupa down here is the meconium fluid or the birth liquid, which settles inside the pupa after the butterfly comes out. And just before the butterfly takes the first flight, so it has to also empty completely the meconium fluid, remaining meconium fluid, what is found in its abdomen. So here's a male which exudates or puts out the meconium fluid before the takeoff. Let us highlight on the importance of butterflies in nature. Then I'll be talking about the plant and the butterfly relationship. So the first point here, the importance of butterflies in nature is they are ecological indicators. So they indicate how rich is our ecological system. So let me just also tell you how this happens actually. Moving to the next point, that is pollination. Of course, the bees are the major pollinators. There are wasps which help in pollination. Birds play a role in pollination. There are various other insects which help in pollination, including the butterflies also. Third is that they form a part of the food web. They become food for predators like birds, praying mantids, robber flies, dragonflies, frogs, lizards. So there are many predators which are dependent on the butterflies for their survival. So these are few of the importance of butterflies in nature. Let me just talk about the first point, that is how they act as ecological indicators in nature. So butterflies are indicators because they are host plant specific. Every butterfly, it has got its own host plant to breed. By looking at a butterfly in an area, you can actually tell the floral diversity of the area, or you can tell which is the plant found in the area, which is the climber found in the area. So they act as indicators. So here you are seeing the Malabar banded swallowtail using Citrus medica as a host. There are two other hosts which is used by this butterfly, that is Acroncia pedunculata. Another one is a Melicope lunoanquenda, earlier called as Evodia roxburghiana. So if you the local name for Acroncia pedunculata is Sunema, and this is Citrus medica, what the butterfly is laying eggs on it. The common name is citron. So this is a first ever reported host for this butterfly. Earlier it was thought that this butterfly lays eggs on these two plants, that is Acroncia pedunculata and Melicope lunoanquenda. So the presence of Malabar banded swallowtail in an area indicates that there is Acroncia pedunculata or Melicope lunoanquenda. Melicope lunoanquenda is a very rare plant, so they indicate. So that's why they are called as indicator organisms. Here you are seeing the crimson rose butterfly laying eggs on Aristoteloche indica. So if you look at this, climber here, the Aristoteloche indica. So the egg is laid here. This climber, in Kannada we call it as Ishwara Balli. Ishwara Balli is host for three species of butterflies: the crimson rose, southern birdwing, and the common rose. So here you are seeing the crimson rose laying eggs on Aristoteloche indica. You can just see the egg being released by the butterfly. So once she releases there, she just leaves the area. So here the butterfly is laying one single egg. There are some butterflies which might lay eggs in batches also. It's not necessarily the butterfly would lay one single egg at a time. So it might lay it in batches. It might stack the egg one upon the other. So it might lay in batches anywhere from like 4 to, if you take autumn leaves and all, they lay anywhere from 4 to 10, 8 to 10 eggs in a batch. Now if you take tawny coster, one single butterfly might lay up to about 50, 60 eggs in a batch. So here you're seeing the southern birdwing, which is laying eggs near the climber Aristoteloche indica. So this is the climber Aristoteloche indica, Ishwara Balli. And you can see the female laying her eggs just near the host. So the caterpillar which comes out of this egg, it just walks down and finds the tender leaf nearby. The female of the southern birdwing, there's a lot of techniques to escape threats from the parasitic wasp. If you look at the next video, here there is an egg laid by the southern birdwing female on a dry grass. So this is to escape threats from the female parasitic wasp, which will be usually searching the eggs of the butterflies to lay their eggs on it. So the parasitic wasp life cycle is completed in the egg of the southern birdwing or maybe other butterfly eggs also. So these wasps, in fact, play a very important role in controlling the birdwing population. The female but uses a lot of techniques to escape threats from the parasitic wasp. Sometimes it might be successful, or sometimes it might not be. So here you're seeing the autumn leaf ovipositing on Pseudoranthemum malabaricum. In Kannada we call it as Nagamallige. So this is a small plant seen as an undergrowth. This butterfly arrives in the coastal line of the Western Ghats every year in the month of June usually to breed because they cannot withstand the harsh weather in the core Ghats. So as the southwest monsoon hits the Kerala coast, these butterflies start migrating towards the coastal line of the Ghats where they start breeding. So every year they come here in the month of June and they remain here till the month of November or December, then they just disappear. All of them might probably fly to the core Ghats and then they return back again. So that's a very, it's a wonderful fact about butterflies. Some of the even in butterfly migration, the butterflies which the parents which go actually they don't return back, but their offspring return back. But local migration, probably they might come back also. We are not sure about it. But these autumn leaves migrate maybe for about 15 to 20 kilometers from the core Ghats towards the coastal line. And this egg-laying behavior of the butterfly depends on the component of the plant, and also the butterfly gets these colors also from the host plant which it feeds on, and also by the arrangement of the scales. So this you can see one egg being laid here. So this female has a habit of laying eggs in batches, maybe anywhere from 4 to 10 eggs in a batch. Moving into the next video. So we have a big patch of this Pseudoranthemum malabaricum. It's a small plant, as you can see in the photo here. We have more than 5,000 Pseudoranthemum malabaricum, which we have conserved for more than 10 to 15 years now. So this plant is spread actually now everywhere. So you'll see a lot of autumn leaves breeding during the season. And that's the reason why these females arrive to breed here on Pseudoranthemum. The next slide. I told butterflies exhibit different egg-laying behavior. If you can see the eggs laid on Senna alata up here, I hope you're able to see the cursor and I'm spotting the egg here. These are the eggs of emigrants, okay? You can see the eggs of emigrants. Or one more possibility is grass yellow, and that is common grass yellow. If you look at the eggs here, these are laid in batches. So these are the eggs of the three-spot grass yellow. So if you see a egg in a batch in Senna alata plant, so those are the eggs of the three-spot grass yellow. So this Senna alata in Tulu we call it as Anatajunk. So it belongs to the same genus of Senna, that is Senna tora, which is edible actually, which people prepare curry out of it. You call it as tajunk in local language here. So Senna alata is host for four species of butterfly, that is common immigrant, mottled immigrant, three-spot grass yellow, and common grass yellow. So here you are seeing the female three-spot grass yellow laying eggs in batch. So in a batch, there might be around anywhere from 15 to 60 eggs laid by the female in one go. Okay. Here is one more butterfly. You might have, if you are familiar or following butterflies, you will be knowing this butterfly. It's a very common species. Tawny coster is the name of the butterfly. Here you're seeing it ovipositing on Passiflora, probably Passiflora fetida, and this butterfly also has got a behavior of laying eggs in batches. These are the mating plugs. What you can see here, because the female normally wouldn't be able to mate again if there are mating plugs here. Once it mates, then it won't be able to mate again. So these are the eggs what you're seeing laid in batches with a female tawny coster, a very common species. There's one more butterfly which breeds on the same plant, that is Passiflora, that is Tamil lacing, a butterfly which is endemic to Western Ghats. This butterfly also breeds on a climber called Edenia hondala. Cardo tomato you call it in Kannada actually, which grows in the core pristine forest of the Western Ghats. So let me just show you that, show you the tuber of that climber. This is the tuber. Look at the tuber, that is Edenia hondala. So this this plant, it's host for 4 species of butterflies. That is the cruiser, the Tamil lacewing, the tawny coster, and the clipper. 4 butterflies breed on the leaf of the Adenia hundala. And the presence of cruiser in a forest is an indication that there is Adenia hundala in the forest, because the cruiser use Adenia hundala. If you take in the core western ghats, there is one more butterfly, clipper, which breeds on this. It also uses Stenosphera cordifolia. In Kannada, we call it as Amrita Balli. So Amrita Balli is host for the clipper butterfly. The clipper probably became common because of the extensive cultivation of its host, that is Amrita Balli, by many people. You can see clippers as a common butterfly now. They're locally common butterflies. Next to that, you might be familiar with this tree, that is the tamarind tree. It is host plant for 2 species of butterflies, that is Black Raja and Tawny Raja. Here are a few life cycles. These are excellent photos by one called Pradeep Nayak, who is into life cycle of the butterflies. These are the eggs what you're seeing on the dry, tendrils of the Adenia, and you can see the tiny caterpillars which has just come out, and these are the butterflies. This is the 3rd stage, that is the pupal stage of the cruiser. The pupa is hanging like this, as you can see. So the swallowtail family butterfly caterpillars normally view the silk thread at the anterior end also, but the pupa of the caterpillar of the Nymphalidae butterfly, so the cruiser belongs to the Nymphalidae family. It doesn't view the silk thread, but it has got a silk pad where it hangs, like as you can see here. Here the eggs of the Malabar banded swallowtail, and you can see the golden color caterpillars of the Malabar banded swallowtail. I hope you remember seeing the photo in the previous slide where the caterpillars were all together. So the caterpillar color changes depending on the instar, because every time the caterpillar grows, the skin won't grow along with its body. It has to rupture and come out. That is what we call it as molting. Here you are seeing just the 3rd instar caterpillars, but what you saw in the previous photo, the green, the final instar caterpillar. So here also you can see the pupa of the Malabar banded swallowtail. These are the pre-pupal stage of the Malabar banded swallowtail, and this butterfly is just closed out of this pupa here. So you already saw the Tamil lacewing butterfly. Here is the life cycle. These are the eggs laid in batches. The caterpillars also remain together in batch, as you can see here. This is the butterfly which has just come out of the pupa. And this is the life cycle of the clipper. You can see the egg here. You can see how beautiful the pattern of the egg is. So these are the fine hairs. This is an adaptation of the butterfly to avoid parasitic wasps to lay the eggs. So they might have to struggle to lay the eggs. So it might not be that easy for the wasp sometimes to lay the eggs on such eggs which are protective, which has got these fine hairs you can see here. So this is a caterpillar, the 2nd stage. This is the 1st instar caterpillar, and you can see a slightly bigger caterpillar, which is different in appearance. So they change, every instar they change. You might think that they are of the different species, but they're not actually. Let me just talk about some of the very familiar plants, what you see in your location. Mango tree. So mango tree is host for 4 species of butterflies. Common barron caterpillar would feed on the leaf, and if you take monkey puzzle, they feed on the tender part of this particular tree. And also there is one more butterfly called common imperial which breeds on this. If you take mango tree, if you have this mango tree in your location, normally the common barron should be there. Okay, the very common butterflies, they can be found near fruit shops also. They get attracted to fruits, they get attracted to rotten fruits as well as fresh fruits. So you can see these butterflies near the fruit shop, the common barron. And if you, I don't know how many of you got the video of the common barron caterpillar, which was circulated maybe last month. Also, it was circulated 1 or 2 years back once, telling that a person who gets sting from this caterpillar would die within just about 2-3 hours or something like that. So which is actually false. The common barron caterpillars are completely harmless creatures. They cannot sting you. They cannot cause skin irritation. So that's false information or you've been getting on WhatsApp. So Citrus medica is a host for many butterflies, including the blue mormon, the common mormon, the lime swallowtail, and also the Malabar banded swallowtail, which is endemic to Western Ghats, which is the first ever reported host. These are the common plants. What you see, if you take Calotropis gigantea, in Kannada we call it as Ekkamali. It is host plant for the very common butterfly, the plain tiger. I hope you might have seen this plain tiger. It's distributed almost everywhere. This is Crotalaria pallida, one more very common plant what you see in the roadsides. So this is also host plant for butterfly called pea blue. I think most of you observed this plant, the Crotalaria pallida or Calotropis gigantea. The Crotalaria pallida is host for the pea blue butterfly, and the caterpillars of the pea blue normally feed on the flower and the pods of the plant. So this is Acacia catechu, one more host for blue the common nawab, and also Acacia blue, and even the lusker is one butterfly called lusker which breeds on this Acacia catechu. This is Xanthoxylum retsa. If you have visited Western Ghats, or if you are from this southernmost part here, you will see this Xanthoxylum retsa as a very common tree, and interestingly, or fortunately, I can say that it is host for the Malabar banded peacock, which is a butterfly which is endemic to Western Ghats, and the Malabar banded peacock uses only Xanthoxylum retsa as its host, so it cannot breed on any other plant. There's no reports of this butterfly breeding on any other plant. Xanthoxylum retsa is also host for red Helen and common mormon butterfly. But red Helen and common mormon breeds on various other Rutaceae plants. But the Malabar banded peacock is known to breed only on Xanthoxylum retsa. And the presence of Malabar banded peacock in an area, it's an indication that there is Xanthoxylum retsa in the area. And though the Malabar banded peacock is endemic to Western Ghats, it is very common in the coastal line of the Western Ghats. Here is one more very common plant, the Hopia ponga. In Kannada, we call it as Karibogi or Karmara intulu. It serves as host plant for up to 8 species of butterflies. It's a tragedy that we have lost, at least more than 50% of the Hopia ponga forest in the coastal line of the Ghats. The migration of the butterflies have been happening from mostly, we don't know, maybe from millions of years, where they come from the core Ghats, where they come to the coastal line, and where they choose Hopia ponga forest to breed. Hopia ponga forest not only consists of Hopia ponga, but there is always diversity where the butterflies use various other plants to breed. But Hopia ponga plant serves as host plant for up to 8 species of butterflies. This is Senna alata, another very common plant you see, and I already explained there are 4 butterflies which breed on this. You saw the photo of the 3-spot grassello, which lay eggs in batch, which was shot from this particular plant. So here's a cashew tree, a very common tree. There are 2 butterflies which breed on this. That is, one is a common baron, again which breeds on mango also. Another one is a red spot duke. Even though this tree is very common in this region, the red spot duke is not that common butterfly. Probably the egg laying capacity might be low, or there are some other regions where you see less red spot dukes. Common barons are very common butterflies. Coming to the next part, we saw that butterflies, how they act as indicators. The one main reason is that because that's a fact, in fact, that they are host specific. So how important are they as pollinators? It's a mutualistic relationship between the flowering plants and the butterflies. Butterflies get their nectar, and in turn they help the flower to pollinate and production of fruit or seeds. So butterflies there might be some trees or plants which might be solely pollinated by butterflies. So those trees or plants might be entirely dependent on the butterflies also. We don't know. So here is a southern birdie, earlier considered the largest of all the Indian butterflies, with the wingspan of the female reaching up to about 19 centimeters, is also the state butterfly of Karnataka. This is the butterfly what I was talking about, which breeds on Xanthosellum redsa, the Malabar banded peacock, which was rated as the third most beautiful butterfly in India. So this was a butterfly which fascinated me a lot when I was just starting my career with butterflies. So we had this wild patch of Clerodendron viscosum where the Malabar banded peacock regularly visits. So this Malabar banded peacock, I can call it as a very intelligent butterfly because it will keep on visiting the same patch every half an hour to 45 minutes again and again, unlike of the other butterflies which just move on. Here's a courtship ritual of the common mormon, and there's a blue mormon butterfly nectaring on Lantana. So we don't actually advise anyone to propagate or put lantanas, but lantanas can be wonderful nectar plants. So if you want to create habitats, you can use ornamental lantana which doesn't produce any seeds, which can be only propagated by human intervention. But lantanas serve as wonderful nectar plants for butterflies, helps in their survival. Here is an orange olive butterfly. This was a 150. This was the 151st species recorded from the butterfly park. Here it is sipping nectar from Stachytetrata jamaicensis. Here's a moor chase, which is sipping nectar from Lea indica, native flowering plant. Lea indica plants are very common in the foothills of the Western Ghats, and you'll see a lot of butterflies nectaring on these plants. Even there are other plants which I didn't show you, the soap nut, which can attract hundreds of butterflies during the flowering time. Here's a banded blue piaro, which this butterfly breeds on Ziziphus. You can see one adaptation in this butterfly that if you look at the hind wing, it has got this black tonal spot and tail-like projection, so which gives an appearance of a head and an antenna. But if you look at the front end here, the real head lies here, the real antenna lies here. So that's a difference which many Lysinidae butterfly use. Here's an open wing shot of the autumn leaf. I hope you remember seeing the closed wing shot, which I took an example to show you the difference between a butterfly and a moth. This is the open wing shot of the autumn leaf butterfly. This is a closed wing shot of the female autumn leaf. Let me just give you some tips how you can conserve butterflies, how you also can be a part of this conservation work. First and foremost, you'll have to protect the natural forest in your area. That's very important because butterflies prefer native trees, native plants to breed, which is found in your location, which is naturally found. You need not cultivate them. Only thing that you will have to remove the plants which spoils the diversity. Plants like acacia or plants like phloxla, those plants can kill the diversity. So those plants can be removed. Other native plants which can be retained in your area and create a natural forest out of the native trees. You'll see butterfly population sustaining naturally, not only butterflies, but the entire wildlife population sustaining. So conservation of butterflies is not only conserving butterflies, but conserving the entire ecosystem. A lot of wildlife will thrive on it. Okay. So here are the threats where you can see a decline in the butterfly and other wildlife population. We all know that habitat destruction has been a major threat. Application of pesticides, insecticides maybe, or herbicides which can kill the host plant of the butterflies can affect the butterfly population. Forest fire is another threat which can wipe out the butterfly population in an area. So this is an organization we are working under now from past 2 years. We also made a film on butterflies. Ma'am mentioned about during introduction. Let me just also speak a little about this film. This film was exclusively captured at the Butterfly Park, and this is India's first ever comprehensive documentary on butterflies. It's a 100 minutes film showing a lot of naturalistic behavior of the butterflies, some which were not known to the butterfly world. For example, the southern birdwing shooting the eggs in the air to avoid threats from the parasitic wasp, which were not known to the butterfly world. There's no report of any female butterfly shooting the eggs in the air. So there are some new things to be seen, and also there are a lot of other things which is really interesting and wonderful. This documentary trailer is available online. There's a 3-minute video trailer which is available. If you Google search "Life of Butterflies" official trailer, you can watch the trailer. So with this, we finish up the presentation. So conserving butterflies is not only about conserving butterflies, but the entire wildlife habitat which butterflies and other living creatures thrive. So butterflies indicate healthy ecosystem, especially butterflies like Malabar banded peacock, Malabar banded swallowtail, or Paris peacock cruiser. These indicates a rich ecological system. Thank you. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Finish the session here.